one of the things I pulled from that story is how many different. Have you ever stopped to think about how many job descriptions you could fill out?
I always had trouble with my resume because I never could tailor it. You know how this until I got the full set. It's like you may need to have a resume for each thing that you do.
Yep.
You know, even though they tie in, and it kind of goes back to the jack of all trades thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have a friend of mine. He actually picks on me with that phrase. He said, "You a jack of all trades, master of a few, instead of master of one. You're a master of a few
For sure.
But I never really. I always had trouble with a resume because of those different things that I did. You know what I'm saying? So, but in my space, resume is not as important as just good communication and good networking in this entrepreneurship space.
For sure.
Once you can show people, also it's almost like having a vitae. Like if someone go to my website, they see the work, that's my resume.
That's the resume. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
that's
agree.
exactly what it is.
I agree. I agree. Yeah. And that's just one of the things that, even breaking down from the scope of entrepreneurship, one of the things at schools I try to tell kids is like, if you had to look at all of the different dimensions of what a self-employed entrepreneur is doing, I mean, I've been able to write down at least 14. Honestly, like at least 14 that could literally go in someone else's job description.
Wow.
And I can only imagine you probably have way more than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you really think about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think even in terms of what happens when we're trying to grow a business to scale, and how do we take those 14, 20, whatever, and say, okay, I need you to do this, do this.
Yeah.
And what does that even look like?
Yeah. Well, that's, I think one of the hardest things for an entrepreneur, especially starting up, is learning to delegate once you start to scale.
Absolutely.
And that's where I am right now.
Yeah.
Learning to delegate. And it's not always easy because, again, as an entrepreneurship, your business is your baby.
Absolutely.
So it's almost like trying to find a daycare provider for your business. You know, it's a lot of questions that have to be asked, making sure it's the right fit, making sure that and trusting someone is going to have that same passion and same type of care for your baby.
Absolutely.
You know, so
that's right.
that's another tier. You know, another tier of being an entrepreneurship, but it's so essential.
Oh yeah, absolutely, I agree.